You know, earlier this week I suspected that we should feel a degree of sympathy for the family that broke out of isolation in Hamilton last weekend. Now I am sure that we should feel that. And this is not to say that I condone their actions. I really don't. Breaking out of the hotel was stupid, and they should all now, as they are, face the consequences for doing that. Sympathy is not the same as support. I feel sympathy for them, and when you hear their version of events, it is exactly as suspected. The Ministry of Health dicked that family around. Now, according to the mum, she'd gone out of her way to organise a way for her kids to see their dad's body before his funeral. Now, this was Friday night. He was being buried on the Saturday. So a plan had been organised for the man's body to be brought from Auckland to Hamilton, and for her and the kids to be able to spend an hour alone with him, no one else there, to keep any chance of COVID spread to a minimum. And by the way, they had all tested negative, so that possibility was already low. Now, she had the support of the Defence Force and she had the support of the isolation management team. She just needed the Ministry of Health to agree. So she was told they'd get a phone call at 4 p.m. And then she was told they would get a phone call at 5 p.m. And by 6 p.m, they still had no answer from the Ministry of Health. Now, come on, man. That is the Ministry of Health dicking them around. They were watching the hours tick down and the possibility of getting that body down to Hamilton before the funeral fade away. The Ministry of Health can tell us now that they were planning to give her permission, but that is easy to say. We'll never know if that's true. So in desperation, she broke out to try to get her kids to Auckland. Now, again, I want to stress, I don't condone her actions, but I have sympathy for her because she is a mum who had kids who wanted to see their father before he was buried, and that is a really tough thing for little ones to go through. I am once again disappointed in the Ministry of Health for once again failing to exercise compassion. We saw it during lockdown when they made the decision to let dying people pass away without any family members present. We saw it when they prevented people in isolation from saying goodbye to relatives before they died as well. We know this position is wrong because a court overturned it. Now, if the Ministry of Health wants people in isolation to act decently, it should start by treating them decently.